Let's do number 12 of the SOA sample questions for exam P. So this is uh, I like to think of this as like a tabular question where basically you make a table and you kind of calculate within the table. So I'll explain that or show it, illustrate it later. But let's first read the question. A doctor is studying the relationship between blood pressure and heartbeat abnormalities in her patients. She tests a random sample of her patients and notes their blood pressures, high, low, or normal, and their heartbeats, regular or irregular. She finds that 14% have high blood pressure, 22% have low blood pressure, 15% have an irregular heartbeat. Of those with an irregular heartbeat, one third have high blood pressure. Of those with normal blood pressure, 1/8 have an irregular heartbeat. So, what portion of the patients selected have a regular heartbeat? Okay, regular heartbeat and low blood pressure. So, when I read this particular sentence of she tests a random sample of her patients and notes the blood pressures. The way I read it is that there's two kind of categorizations, whether or not their blood pressures are high, low, normal, and whether or not their heartbeats are regular or irregular. So there's one population and you could be categorized in two different ways, and they're not exclusive of each other. So you have to have one of these attributes and one of these attributes, meaning that you have to be a high blood pressure person with regular heartbeats or a high blood pressure person with irregular heartbeats, something of that sort. So to make this easier, let's make a table. Okay. It's not going to be straight, but bear with me. And let's make boxes. And let's see. Okay. And I am going to make this first one denoted H for high blood pressure. Going to make this middle one as N for normal blood pressure. And I'm going to make this last column low for low blood pressure. And for heartbeats, this top one is going to be R for regular and I for irregular. And so these portions here at the bottom, they're going to be total. Let's just kind of like extend these to show that we're kind of making different cells. All right, so let's fill out the totals first. So 14% have high blood pressure, okay? 14%. 22% have low blood pressure. 22%. So this row needs to add up to 100%. And this column also needs to add up to 100%. So, okay, so we put the 14% high blood pressure, 22% low blood pressure. Now let's go to point number 3. 15% have an irregular heartbeat, so that's going to be 15%. Okay, so that means 85% of people have a regular heartbeat, and 14 plus 22, which is 36, so that means that 64% of people have a normal heartbeat. Okay, Now, let's go to point number 4. Of those people with an irregular heartbeat, so this row I, 1/3 have high blood pressure. Okay? So 15% divided by 3 is going to be 5%. So HI, right? Those people with irregular heartbeat, with high blood pressure, that's going to be 5% of the total population. So that means that, so in of those people with high blood pressure, how many have a regular heartbeat? So it's going to be 14% minus 5%, and that's going to equal 9%. Okay, but we don't really need that information, but it's sort of an example of how to use this table. Okay, of those with normal blood pressure, 1/8 have an irregular heartbeat. So we go to the column of normal blood pressure, and 1/8 of these people have an irregular heartbeat. So column N, row I, have an irregular heartbeat. So that's going to be, since we're in column N, we have 64% of the population, and 1/8 of them have an irregular heartbeat. So that means we're going to divide the 64% by 8. So that's going to be 8%. So then that also means that 56% of people with normal heartbeats have a regular heartbeat. And I got that from going to the 64% minus 8%, which is equal to 56%. Okay. So, how many people with a regular heartbeat have low blood pressure? So now we're in row R, going to column L, and all we have to look at is this total 85% from row R and subtract everything else that's coming from there. So that means 85%. So in order to get this row R, column L portion here, I'm going to mark this with an X. X marks the spot. We're going to want to do 85% minus 56% minus 9%. So that's going to equal to 20%. And that's going to be our answer. Okay, if you like this video or if you like the explanation, please leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the comment section. All right, thanks guys.